And we are back. Welcome to a special one-off predictions video for you today. A slightly more light-hearted predictions video than normal. We are talking about tomorrow's Carabao Cup final, also known as the EFL Cup final, also known as the League Cup final, also known as the Mickey Mouse Cup final if you're not in it, and as I like to call it, the meme goalkeeper final. Insert picture of Kepa refusing to be substituted. Insert picture of Kepa trying to save Van Dijk's penalty in the shootout last year when he just stood in the opposite corner and Van Dijk scored in that corner anyway. And just to annoy the Liverpool fans as well, insert picture of Karius, because the last time Karius played a professional football match was in this final last season. A final which, like in the Champions League final, Karius lost, this time resulting in a Manchester United win. And if you're not happy about that, well then you can just cry. Anyway, enough about the memes around this final. This is a serious final, of course. It is the first or second major trophy of the season, depending on your allegiances to the English Super Cup, as I call it, of course, the Community Shield. It is the Carabao Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, we do have to talk about the slight elephant in the room, which is the last two times that these sides have met in a cup final was both in 2022. Firstly, in this competition, where we had that Kepa Van Dijk moment that you just saw. Then they met in the FA Cup final afterwards at the end of that season, also resulting in 0-0 in a penalty shootout. And even the final that these two played before that in the European Super Cup, that also went to penalties. So the last three times these sides have met in a cup final, it has gone all the way to penalties. The last two of those times have been 0-0. And off the back of that, they then went into last year's Premier League season, drawing both of their respective league games 0-0 as well. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of a bad omen going into this cup final, but I have to believe that surely there is no way it can end 0-0 again, can it?
It can.
At least these two sides have met twice already in the Premier League this season, a 1-1 draw and a 4-1 victory to Liverpool. So there have been goals in the last two sides that these teams have met, so that gives us a little bit more impetus going into this one, that we might see a slightly more exciting game than the 0-0s we got in the previous two finals between these sides. However, the other elephant in the room that we need to address before making this prediction is this right here, and that is the injury situation for both of these clubs. Now, obviously, Mohamed Salah and Darwin Núñez are both listed here as doubtful, and the expectation is at least one of them, if not both, are going to be in the squad. Not potentially in the starting lineups, but certainly in the squad for this game. But you've got to look at this. There are a lot of first-team players for both of these sides that are going to miss this cup final. And I think, again, it just emphasises the absolute fixture pile-up that we've got going on in football at the moment. And to be honest with you, I think when you see something like this going into a cup final, it really makes you think, what is the actual point in still having this competition? You look around the major leagues in Europe, we are the only major footballing association in Europe that has two domestic trophies that go on during the season. Yes, we have our Super Cup, as all the others have their Super Cup, but we're the only one that has this League Cup in addition to our FA Cup. So I think when you look at this, you look at the injury crisis in football at the moment, you look at the fixture pile-up in football at the moment, you look at the fact that they're going to expand European football even more next season as well. I think this is a proper opportunity to draw a line under this competition and say that whatever happens in this game, this should be the final iteration of the EFL Cup. Because for me, it's just too much fixture pile-up, and it's a good opportunity just to get rid of this competition. Anyway, with all of that injury crisis in place and with all of that knowledge about previous meetings in place, we can now actually talk about the prediction for the match itself. Now, with their respective injury crises, both of these sides have actually played relatively well recently. Most notably, of course, Chelsea getting that 1-1 draw away at Manchester City. A fantastic result for them, proving that they can compete at the highest level against the best teams in the world, which Liverpool are amongst them. And not only that, on the other side of things, Liverpool, of course, with their own injury crisis, have continued to win and win well, to the extent that whatever happens this weekend in the Premier League, Liverpool will remain at the top of the Premier League at the end of this weekend. So both sides have played well due through their injury crises. And I now look at this fixture and go, who is going to be the better starting lineup on paper? And I think it's still just going to be Liverpool. I really do. I think they've got that little bit more winning mentality. It's a young side that's going to be going in for Chelsea. Yes, there's going to be a few more inexperienced players from Liverpool's perspective going into this. But at the end of the day, I think Liverpool have got that little bit more hunger, that little bit more pedigree. Jurgen Klopp's final season, they're going to be winning as many trophies as possible. And I think this is going to be the first one that they pick up this season. I hope also, as a Manchester United fan, it'll end up being the last. And obviously, I would prefer Chelsea to win this over Liverpool. But I think Liverpool are going to come out on top. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to them. I think this game will be done in 90 minutes. Obviously, it would be hilarious if it went on even longer to extra time and penalties once again, because it just always seems to be the way. But no, I think this one will be done in 90 minutes, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Liverpool. As always, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this slightly more light-hearted video, please do consider dropping a like on it as well. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll be back later on this afternoon with my reaction to the Manchester United Fulham game, a game which will not feature Rasmus Højlund. I like it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later on today.